This is a short video of the most inspirational story I've ever heard. I volunteered for a month in North Carolina after Hurricane Helene had hit. It was in November, 1 month after the storm had passed. This interview was with the Will guy, who was in the small town of Pensacola donating time and staying at a place called Camp Miller. This man was a hero in the community. I watched him get countless homes going again with water, which is our most important resource in life. I was doing interviews to get the boots on the ground, in-depth story of what was happening there. And that's when he shared this incredibly inspirational story with me. You can go to the previous video in this series and hear our whole in-depth interview. Feel free to scroll around the rest of my page. I do 16 interviews from when I was there donating time for a month. I also documented what I was doing every day. I started this page over 10 months ago, and I try to release a video a day of some kind of positivity. I talk philosophy, I even tell funny stories from my life and give away inventions for free. And I just do all I can to try and help the world. I had a little boy who passed away. He was born premature and was 1 pound even. He was here for a little over 5 weeks. I was able to hold him in my arms after he passed away, and I made a promise to him that I'd do everything I could to try and help make the world a better place. This isn't about politics or views or anything like that. I'm just trying to keep my promise that I made to my son. Please, I ask everyone to try and keep it peaceful. Take inspiration from this man's story, and maybe just try and love one another. I think the world needs that now more than ever. I know we can create peace in this world. We just have to try.
All right, so you told me just a great story, and I gotta share it, man. So tell me about when you first hit town here.
I first pulled into North Carolina. I pulled into Asheville at the Oteen Baptist Church right across from the VA clinic in Asheville, North Carolina. And the lady asked me if she could help me, and I told her no, I was here to see if I could help her. She said, well, what can you do for me? And I said, well, you got any water issues? And she said, matter of fact, I do. We pull around the back of the other side of the church, and there's a semi-trailer full of portable showers sitting there, and then there's an 8,000-gallon tanker truck for water sitting there side of it. She says, it's been here since this morning, and we can't get nobody to get the water to the showers. I said, well, let me look at it. So I get over there and look at it, and I got enough stuff in my truck, about 45 minutes, I had the shower going. So I asked her about any kind of phone service so I could call my pump suppliers, and she said, as a matter of fact, we got the internet service. She said, we had 6 Buddhist monks come hook us up internet yesterday. And so
wow,
Starlink, and then the next day we were around, and 1,200 Mormons happened to pull up in there hunting places to go to fix roofs and stuff. And she said, you don't see that too often. You got Mormons pulling up at a Baptist church, and Buddhist monks had just been here the day before. I said, well, you can throw Methodists in there, because I got 2 or 3 Methodist churches back home behind me.
Oh, so man,
that just shows you what a situation like this bring together that you don't see happening every day normally nowadays. But it puts your faith back in this country and in the good Lord above to make things happen when you need to.
And it's a beautiful thing, just seeing people from all walks of life come together and just put aside everything and just work together.
Forget about all your differences.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, it's time to do it. Don't matter what letters in front of your name when you go vote or anything else.
Man, that's the most beautiful thing. I love it so much, man. Thank you for sharing all this, man. That's just it's so beautiful. And that's just
I tell folks back home, I said I've probably had my neck hugged more times in the last month up here than I have in 20 years. And it ain't no just putting her arm around you and saying thank you. It's, look, you got to give me some air. It's like, oh, thank you. You know,
right.
That's what makes every bit of it worth it up here.
Yes, sir.
Seeing that, because I mean, we may not be helping that much in our eyes, but in the mindset of this community right here, we're making a big difference.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, man, I appreciate you sharing that story. You shared it with me, and I knew the rest of the world needed to hear it, man.
I personally am non-religious, so you can throw me into the mix there as well. I think this is one of the most beautiful stories that I've ever heard. I really appreciate him for sharing it, and I really appreciate everybody coming out and doing what they did. And I think the world just needs a lot more of this right now. I really wish we could just stop all the division and all the fighting and just try and come together and get along. You know, it sucks that this was such a terrible disaster, but seeing moments like this are just the most beautiful moments in humanity. And I wish that we could do it normally without it being under circumstances like this. It breaks my heart to see the world constantly fighting, and I wish it didn't have to be this way. But it's moments like these that give you hope and show you there is a different way, and that we can all work together and get along and work for the same goal. And we may not believe the same thing, but we can still put our differences aside and work together to try and help each other and help humanity. And I think that's what the world needs now more than anything. I really appreciate you guys listening to this man's amazing story. Feel free to like and subscribe and follow along on my journeys. Thanks, everyone.